Jeffersonville police investigating two separate homicides, both in just a matter of days. Detectives say two men were killed, one on Thursday, the other on Saturday. Hello, everybody. I'm Connie Leonard.
And I'm Doug Proffitt. Our top story here tonight at 5. Thursday's case happened on Copp Avenue. Saturday morning's murder happening on Indiana Avenue. 45-year-old James Thurman's body was found in his apartment. WHAS11's Gabriel Gonzalez says one of Truman's neighbors was comforted after talking with police.
And I was told by an officer that it was nothing to be worried about, that it was an isolated situation, that it had no profound impact on the public whatsoever.
He's lived next door to Saturday's homicide victim for months. The crime came as a shock, but he was assured the community is safe.
So that kind of set my mind a little bit at ease.
Yellow tape still at the scene days after two separate homicides in Jeffersonville. Detectives were called to Indiana Avenue around 7:30 Saturday morning. That's where they found James Truman's body inside his apartment.
No, it's mostly quiet around here pretty much. I mean, everybody here, you know, somehow somebody knows somebody, and you know it's been peaceful and quiet until now.
Sean says his uncle also lives in the same complex.
Yeah, my uncle Phil, you know, he was shocked about it, that it was right next door that this occurred.
He says other neighbors he's talked to are on edge over a violent crime happening so close to where they live. In Jeffersonville, Gabriel Gonzalez, WHAS 11, on your side.
Police are saying there is no threat to the area, and they're still looking for Anthony White. If you have any information, you're asked to call the anonymous tip line. That number, 812-218-TIPS.
Also happening today, the former Letcher County, Kentucky sheriff who's in jail for shooting and killing an Eastern Kentucky judge headed to court this morning. Kentucky State Police say Sean Mickey Steins shot and killed District Judge Kevin Mullins in his chambers after an argument on September 19th. Those chambers are in the Letcher County Courthouse. Today, in the brief arraignment hearing this morning in the Letcher County Courthouse, the judge entered a not guilty plea on his behalf. She also ruled that there would be no bond in this case.
After significant consideration, given the implications of Varsy's law, community safety concerns, security concerns, the fact that the defendant is in fact charged with a capital offense, together with the provisions of Rule 402, paragraph 1, the defendant shall not be admitted to bond at this time.
Last week, a Letcher County grand jury indicted Steins on one count of murder of a public official.
A Louisville man is facing charges after being arrested for a sexual assault on the University of Kentucky campus. 21-year-old Saif Al-Kafaji was arrested at the Louisville airport on Saturday on charges of sexual abuse and indecent exposure. Police say he assaulted the victim November 10th as they were walking near the intersection of Rose Street and Euclid Avenue. That's in Lexington. Police said they also connected Al-Kafaji to a separate report of indecent exposure.
Today, a protest happened in downtown Louisville. The group called the People's Consent Decree Coalition was out at Jefferson Square Park downtown protesting what it calls Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg's lack of accountability and transparency regarding the Louisville Metro Police Department. In March of last year, the Department of Justice, U.S. Department of Justice, issued the consent decree after its report found patterns of discrimination and use of excessive force within Louisville Metro Police. That decree has not been signed yet. Metro government and Metro Police have been negotiating the consent decree with the DOJ since February of this year. The mayor had previously said he expects all the paperwork to be sorted through by the end of this year. With that deadline fast approaching, the coalition wants to be able to see the final draft and the copy before it's agreed upon and signed.
The People's Consent Decree is demanding transparency and a clear plan and timeline to signature. That includes allowing the public to see the consent decree before it is signed. As Councilwoman Parrish Wright has said, we could be signing harm. We don't know because we have not seen the consent decree.
The group also reiterated all of their original demands today, calling for transparency, accountability, and community involvement in negotiations. The mayor's office now responding to the coalition's claims, claiming consent decree negotiations with the DOJ are continuing this week. But we are not waiting to take action and create change at LMPD. They go on to say from new body camera policies to deflection expansion and prioritizing officer wellness programs, We've been introducing new police reforms since the start of this administration in 2023.
Well, it is dark and dreary out there. You might need a rain jacket if you're heading out the door.
And we've got chilly weather back on the way. So, Ben, you bring us our snow flurries last week. We got that. That was quite the thrill. You might as well bring them back with these temperatures you're looking at the end of the week.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather have flurries than this drizzly stuff that we have out there now. It is a little bit gloomy, obviously. We have the drizzle and the sprinkles, light rainfall back for this evening. Nothing real heavy out there, kind of a nuisance, using the windshield wipers. Maybe that rain jacket. I finally remembered my rain jacket tonight. Upper 50s, lower 60s are current temperatures as we look live here with our First Savings Bank camera. And low clouds and fog is what we'll have through the evening time ahead of this cold front that you can see is bringing more steady rain that's out to our west right now. Less than a quarter of an inch of rainfall in most locations. So again, most of it on the light side here tonight. And by midnight, it looks like most of this will already be off to our east. We'll have a clearing trend overnight and some colder temperatures moving in over the next 24 hours. And so this evening, yeah, it is going to be wet out there, but notice it's not going to be around long. This is before midnight. It's off to the east. Here's that gradual clearing trend tonight with that northwest wind, bringing our temperatures down to the 30s as we get started tomorrow morning. So that chill is back. Sunshine, but upper 40s to around 50 degrees. A cooler day for tomorrow after a high of 65 today. Light rain for the evening time, then drying out overnight. Low of 35, 45 at noon tomorrow. That forecast high at 50 degrees. We do have another little system around Thanksgiving, but the bigger story is going to be the cold blast on the way this weekend. Coldest weather so far this season coming up in our full forecast.
Thank you, Ben. What a scene. Take a look at it here in Evansville, Indiana. Police say a vehicle drove right off the parking garage of Bally's Casino and came crashing down into a building nearby. The casino is located near the Ohio River in downtown Evansville. Police say the vehicle drove right off the 7th floor of the parking garage. This happened about 8:30 this morning and landed upside down, as you can see here, in the Executive Conference Center on top of an escalator. This is drone video from our ABC station WEHT in Evansville. The driver was able to get out of the car, and that person is being treated at the hospital. And fortunately, there were no other injuries. It's a real miracle here. There was a conference taking place at the time even. Bally's officials say the incident does appear just to be driver error.
Wow. Well, 2 arrests have ended an armed robbery spree that spread across Louisville over the weekend.
And police say they've connected 3 men to 7 robberies. WHAS11's Ian Hardwitt retraces the steps police say that the young men took.
The string of alleged robberies ended shortly after midnight on Saturday at this Beachmont BP, according to LMPD, when the suspected driver took off in someone else's vehicle and one of the suspected robbers ran on foot towards the Watterson Expressway on-ramp. Arrest citations also mention a third suspect, which the department is actively looking for. One victim was pistol whipped, court documents show. LMPD officers suspect the 3 men in 6 robberies connected by a blue Ford Fusion. 2 happened at Mid-City Mall in Metro Councilman Ben Reno Weber's district.
My sources within LMPD were really surprised because that's not a usual thing that happens in that area.
Dontre Crumbs on the left is accused of being the driver in those robberies. Chanchise Brown on the right is accused of robbing people at gunpoint.
Our capacity to do this kind of work and investigation has gotten better since we've had more time for the officers that we've hired since 2020 to get the training that they need to be effective.
St. Matthews police also charged them with an armed robbery. Arrest citations say the accused robbers came to Total Wine on Shelbyville Road in the blue Ford, blocked in a parked driver, pointed their guns at them, then took the driver's wallet.
Many of these, there's video of the robberies. We had good descriptions of them, of the vehicle, and I think it probably would have a matter of time before an officer out there found that vehicle anyway, but luckily we were able to stop it in the same night.
Major Eddie Jones said the St. Matthews Department still has their eyes on the third man involved.
Pretty certain of who he is. We just need to do some more investigation into it before we make an arrest.
A potential arrest both departments say is backed up by video evidence. In Louisville, Ian Hardwitt, WHAS 11 on your side.
Police also say the accused robbers were all wearing medical masks. As you know, Mayor Craig Greenberg revived a mask ban in Louisville recently that dates back 40 years. The Metro Council is working on updating that decades-old ordinance.
Campbellsville University honored a student killed earlier this year with a new bench and tree on campus. 18-year-old wrestler Josiah Kilman died in February. One of his teammates has been charged with his death. Campbellsville says the bench and tree in Kilman's honor was placed between Ransdell Chapel and South Hall.
It was a big Monday for the medical marijuana business in the Bluegrass State. Licenses for medical cannabis dispensaries here in the Commonwealth were drawn today in Louisville. 9 of 11 designated regions were drawn, excluding Louisville and Lexington, which are going to have their own separate drawings coming up on December 16th. Now, the Kentucky Office of Medical Cannabis said it received more than 4,000 applications for the dispensaries, the businesses that'll sell it. Each region will get a total of 4 of these businesses with no more than 1 in a county. However, due to population size, Louisville and Lexington are going to each get 2. The executive director of the Office of Medical Cannabis explained how they came up with this program.
In developing our lottery process, we considered the best practices used in other states and determined that this was the most fair and transparent way to build our new program.
Focus investigator John Charlton has been following the process from the beginning. He was there today. He's going to have the full report on where the dispensaries will go. That's coming up on WHAS 11 News at 6 tonight.